Hello everyone, my name is Luigi Pangaro and usually I serve as one of the producers, the director and editor of PCTV. But for this edition of Fun Stuff, I'm going to show you a little look on graphics tablets. They differ from the tablets that Nizar and Jared have shown you in earlier episodes of PCTV in the sense that they are not mini computers. You cannot surf the web or play any games or any of that stuff. What they do allow you to do is to control the mouse pointer in the same way you would control, say, a pen or a pencil. You can use it to navigate your desktop, surf the web, or perhaps even digitally paint if you're artistically inclined. Let's take a look at it. It's a slender square shape. And it comes with a pen, which is called a stylus. And some of the models have a little slot, so the stylus can slide in. But the most important part of the graphics tablet is this. It's the square. Now, this square corresponds directly to the desktop, and anything that you do, any marks, any presses on the stylus onto that square will correspond to the desktop. It has several buttons, as you can see right here, which you can map to various keyboard keys. And the stylus also have buttons as well. As you can see, two small buttons here, and a little button where a conventional lead pencil will have rubber. It plugs into the USB, just like any device these days, just like that. It usually comes with an installation CD, which you must install the drivers in order to use it. Otherwise, the computer can't communicate with the graphics tablet and it will be rendered useless. Then we can further set it up. Once you've installed it, it will come up with this, Pen Tablet Properties. And this is where you can set up the orientation of the graphics tablet. Now, it's very important to set up the orientation of the graphics tablet correctly. Otherwise, it's going to be back to front. Up is down, down is up, left is right. It's going to be a jumbled measure. So when you're setting up in the Pen Tablet Properties, please make sure that you set it up to your correct, the hand that you use to write with. We can go to Pen Tablet Properties and we can change all the keyboard strokes. If we go to Tablet here, we can change our orientation, left or right-handed. And the keys, which I mentioned earlier, we can actually change the function of this. We can also edit the buttons of the pen stylus. One of the buttons, right-click. Let's change it for a keystroke. Let's change it to left bracket. Okay. Let's give it a name, left bracket, spell it properly, left bracket. And likewise, the second button closest to the tip, instead of pan to scroll, we're going to change it again to keystroke. And this time it will be right bracket, press OK, and we'll also call this right bracket. Okay. Now that we have set everything up, it's time to test our graphics tablet. And as you can see, if you hold the pen in your writing hand, as you would any pencil or pen, and if we just don't actually touch the square of the tablet just yet, we just want to hover over it, and we'll see that an orange light go on near the side buttons. And if we move the stylus to the top part of the square, the cursor goes upwards like so. And likewise, if we move the stylus downwards to the bottom of the square, the cursor goes to the bottom. And we can actually click as you would. Let's open up Adobe Acrobat, and we can double click just by pressing down on the stylus twice, just like a double click, and it should come up with, yes, it has Adobe Acrobat. Lovely. And for a single click, we just tap. And we can even do right click. All we got to do that is we got to hover over what we want, in this case Adobe Acrobat. We push down with the stylus onto the square, and a little ring should pop up. We let it go gently, and it right clicks. And we can open up with left click, and that's it. It's fun, easy, simple. It's just a much more natural way of operating the desktop. And of course, it takes time to get used to it, because unlike in a piece of paper, you're actually watching the screen while you're doing your movements like that, and it can seem a little bit cumbersome at first, but you get slowly used to it. And we can even test out the buttons that we've mapped out on the tablet and the stylus. Let's open up Word here. Let's zoom in, and once again I'm using the stylus just like I would a mouse. I'm going to use the buttons that we've programmed earlier. Going to push it down, and it creates a right bracket or a left bracket. Left, right, and according to what keystrokes I assigned the buttons on the stylus is what's happening on the screen. So not only can we operate our desktop, we can also surf the net. I've opened up the web browser, and we can also go to our Facebook page, and we can scroll down with the window. We can follow links, we can go backwards, we can go forwards, we can create new tabs, we can do all sorts of things. You can quite literally surf the net with a tablet, and it's just as easy, if not easier, than with a mouse. Now, the fun part of owning a graphics tablet comes when you edit photos. And I'm not going to go into in-depth. I've got a picture of Nazar and Jared here. So let's do some clone stamping. We can remove some blemishes. We can do red eye removal. We can do all sorts of things. One thing I should mention is a little tab that appears after you installed the graphics tablet. We can, it's called the Tablet PC Input Panel, and we click that. It's just off to the left side, and basically the functionality, it's supposed to represent a keyboard, and I can use the touch keyboard, and say if I was working with a Microsoft document, I can input letters using this method. Let's backspace it. What should we write? Let's go caps. P, C, where is underscore? That's not it. Shift, underscore, PCTV. And this little window just makes it, gives an extra functionality, because you might feel a little constrained that the graphics tablet doesn't allow you to use your keyboard at within the same device. So this is just a fun way of using the keyboard, using the graphics tablet as a keyboard. That's the most useful option, the touch keyboard, or we can also try the writing pad. And this may not even work that well. Let's do a little space bar. And basically, we're going to write something and it will try to convert it into... We'll write something in our shorthand, in our natural handwriting, and it will convert it to keystrokes and onto the text of Word. We can try it here. I'm not sure if it's going to work. PC_TV insert. Well, it's pretty accurate, but it's not really that accurate. But if you want to try that, it's something fun. It's not really useful for, you know, jotting down notes or something in a hurry, but you know, it is something. We can also use the graphics tablet for a bit of a spot of digital painting. Let's do some painting. I'm not going to go into depth, but I want to show you at least a couple of fun things you can try that only works with graphics tablets. The following methods will not work with a mouse pointer. That the graphic tablet stylus is touch sensitive. Let me show you what I mean. So we select the color red, let's say, and we go to Windows Brushes. We go to Shape Dynamics, and the size jitter, if you can see, we're gonna set the control to pen pressure. That means, depending on how hard or how soft I'm pressing down with the stylus onto the tablet, it will create a thin or thicker line. Pretty cool, eh? One further thing you can do to make it more like an oil painting or an acrylic painting, we can actually adjust the opacity. And we can do this by going back to brushes, go to other dynamics, and we set the opacity jitter to pen pressure. Now, depending on how soft or how hard I press down on the stylus, it's going to affect my brush stroke. So if I press down on it lightly, it's going to be like a low opacity, but if I press down on it hard, it's going to be become quite opaque. So that's a graphics tablet. Not useful for everyone, but it's definitely something fun to try out. Thank you for watching, and it's back to Nizar and Jared.